There are not many people that could get me in East London on a Friday night in the sunshine when I should be in the garden drinking a bottle of wine. Nearly said a glass, that would be ridiculous. But Alan Miller is literally that person and the Together group, because we all went through that crazy period of time, did we not? We all went through it. And many of us in this room are still, as Alan just said, to echo that, going, hang on a minute, like that all happened and we're just meant to forget about it and just go through a British election and then an American election and we're not talking about it. And so a night like this for me, to be in a room of you, is practically therapy. So nothing would stop me being here tonight, because we cannot forget what we went through in the last 4 years. So, anybody that watches me on GB News in the morning, I do Britain's Newsroom 9:30 till 12, thank you very much, will know that two of the questions I get asked all the time is, as a GB News presenter, are you frustrated by what you can and cannot say? Even the people I've met in the room tonight, that's been one of your first questions. Of course it is frustrating. Of course there are times when I wish I could just go for it and talk about the things that we are all interested about in this room. But I'm also incredibly conscious that we have to bring everybody with us into the next stage of this extraordinary period of history, of whatever this looks like. And so I try to do that with diplomacy. Not always. I don't always pull that one off. I did call Keir Starmer thick on the TV, which upset a few people on Thursday. I mean, it was just the obvious word. Everyone was sort of ruminating about how he didn't do so well on the debate and what is it? And I said, I think he might just be a bit thick. And suddenly you realise actually that. And I went back and I watched a video of Keir Starmer during the pandemic talking about how the children needed to be vaccinated. And I see this and I'm like, yeah, that man is clearly just quite thick, because any sort of critical thinking or any cursory glance at the cost benefit of that scenario would have told you that was a terrible idea. So Alan talked about bravery and courage, and I think people have said, and very kindly, say that you were brave during that period of time, because I was on terrestrial TV quite a lot, slugging it out with people, the likes of Dermot O'Leary and Jeremy Vine. And it took I suppose it was a sort of courage. I also quite enjoy the fight. I can't lie, so it was quite fun. I quite enjoy the sparring, because I never go into those situations thinking that I am 100% right. I'm always, always happy to have my mind changed. And I think that is probably what we all in this room share to some extent, sir, thank you very much, is this idea that we're pretty sure we've done our research. We're pretty sure we're informed, but we're also really open-minded, and we can have our mind changed if the facts change. We all know the facts have stayed pretty much constant for the last 4 years. So was there a sort of bravery at that period of time? To some degree, yes, but I was also in the fortunate position that I wasn't tied to a channel at this time. I wasn't obliged to toe a line, and I was able to therefore be free of the shackles of kind of the censorship that a lot of the people I was on the telly against were at the time. So I don't, as much as people say, do you hate those people? I don't hate those people. I do not. I don't hate anybody. But I also know that they were just drastically, catastrophically, tragically ill-informed during that period of time. The other question I get a lot is, with all that in mind, Bev, how can you sit next to Andrew Pearce, who is the associate editor of the Daily Mail? But I refer you to my earlier point, which is we have to take people with us into this next section of history, whatever that is going to look like. And I think we're all at the stage where we have a suspicion of what is on the horizon. We've got digital ID, we've got CBDCs, we've got potential social credit scores, we've got limitations on our travel, we might have mandates of other vaccines, drugs, injections in the future, which mean we can or cannot get on an aeroplane. And that stuff terrifies me and it keeps me awake at night. But I would so much rather be sat next to, the privilege of sitting next to somebody who is so influential in the mainstream and establishment media than not, if that makes some sort of sense. Whether I can make a difference, who knows? And he makes me look younger, thank you. So I just want to say, this evening Alan was, you just got to talk for 5 minutes, Bev, and I thought, do I write some notes? What do I do? You don't need notes when you're talking to a room of friends, and you don't need notes when you're talking to a group of like-minded people. Just want to do a little experiment. Just put your hand up for me if you lost a friendship in the last 4 years. That's nearly everybody. Put your hand up if you maybe lost a job in the last 4 years. Yeah, less, fewer. It would have been more if it wasn't for the work that Together did in terms of vaccine mandates particularly. That would have been a much bigger number. Put your hand up if you lost your marriage in the last 4 years. Unrelated. And I really feel for those people because that must have been really difficult. And I was really fortunate that my partner and I were, on the same, my now partner, were on the same page. Because what we've all realized is this last 4 years has been just life-changing for everybody, often from a financial point of view, from a relational point of view. But also, I think it's not an exaggeration to say that it's literally been a sort of spiritual transformation for lots of us. In that, why? Because when we wake up in the morning now, we know what we would die for. And as much as I sometimes miss 2019, right? Who misses 2019? So, what did we talk about in 2019? What did we even think about? I don't know. What? I can't remember. As much as there was a lovely sort of ignorant bliss about 2019, I wouldn't go back because I wake up in the morning now and I know what I would die for. And that is what everybody in this room has. And that is a privilege. So it's all very well, people like me banging on and wanging on the telly and the radio, and gosh, I appreciate your support. I really, really do. I genuinely appreciate it. It's all very well us having our voice on social media, which a lot of us do, and make sure tonight as well that we make as much noise about the Together event on social media tonight because it really makes a massive difference. But there are people like the Together Declaration. In fact, not even like. It is just pretty much these guys who are making a difference, who are changing policy, who are influencing MPs, who are telling us how to communicate with those in power and how important that is in the most simple ways. So they can't do this without our support. They can't do this without funds, unfortunately. So I would just genuinely urge everybody tonight to dig deep if you can, buy some raffle tickets, bid on the auction. One of the auctions is coming for lunch with me. You can come and meet me at GB News. I can time it so Andrew Pearce comes out of the building at the same time if you like. You can come and meet me at GB News and I will take you for lunch at Paddington at one of the lovely restaurants around there at a date that's convenient to you. So thank you all, genuinely. Love you all. We know that. And I'm going to be here to talk to as many of you as possible tonight. And have a brilliant night. Thank you, everybody, so much.